In this lesson, I'm going to show you the process that I take in order to create my own concept art for animation. So this is going to be the first lesson in the series of training that we are going to embark on, showcasing the processes that we take to create animated projects. So let's get started. So you can see that I have opened up a Photoshop blank canvas, and it wants me to create a new Photoshop project for myself. Remember, you can still follow along with us if you are not using Photoshop, but if you are using any other art program like ArtRage, Clip Studio Paint, Krita, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to create a new project. Okay, I'm going to create a new project by going to File, New. It will bring up a dialog box for me so that I can be able to set up my project the way I want it. So the only few things I'm going to change here is the name. I will perhaps call this concept art, if I can spell that correctly. So I'll come to the width and the height and change it, but it's already with the width and the height that I want, which is 1920 and 1080. So 1920 and 1080 is full HD for those people that are working in film and animation such as I. So I will leave it at 1920 and 1080. But for some people, they might decide to increase it to 4K size, which is around 3840 and 2160, but I'm going to leave it as it is while we start to work. So the resolution here, 300. The resolution defines the sharpness of your artwork. The closer you get to it, or the farther away you get from it. So the higher the resolution, the sharper and the clearer your artwork will be, no matter how you zoom it in. So I'm going to leave it at 300. Okay, but if your system cannot be able, or your PC cannot be able to handle the 300, you can reduce it to around 150, because sometimes when you decide to increase the resolution and your computer cannot process those tiny details, it can start to hang or slow down or even crash your system. So I'm going to click on OK. Now when I click on OK, to bring up a new project canvas for us with a default background layer, white background layer. So I'm going to start by creating a new layer. Now it's advisable to always start creating your artwork on a new layer other than the background layer, because if you create an artwork on your background layer, the white background is going to combine together with the artwork you create. So if I want to move this guy around, I cannot even move it around because the layer is locked, right? So if I want to move it around, I can unlock this layer and I can move it around. But you see what happens if I start moving the artwork around? The white background layer moves along with it, because I created this artwork on the background layer, which I am not supposed to do. So I'm going to create a new layer like I've done, layer 1. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the reference photo that we are going to be using to create our first artwork that we are going to be using for our animation. So I'll bring in this artwork. This is a reference photo given to me by an acquaintance. He wants me to use this photo for the training. So what I'm going to do to this photo is that I'm going to use this as a reference to create a cartoon character. But the cartoon character that I'm going to create with this photo will be that of a child, a small child, maybe around 6-year-old or thereabout. So I'm going to look at this reference photo. I'm going to see the features on the face, especially since this photo was given to me from the bust to the head. So I don't actually know how from the waist to the down looks like. So I'm going to use this photo this way and come up with my own ideas to how the waist down to the feet will look like. So I'm going to look at this photo and see how I can use this photo as a reference to create a cartoon character, that is a cartoon kid character. So I'm going to move this reference photo to the other monitor, and I'm going to dive into my canvas and start creating this artwork. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to start creating a skeleton. you don't actually start creating an artwork immediately. You have to start by sketch what we call a skeleton. At least that's how I start creating my own characters. I start creating my characters by sketching out a skeleton of that character first. Okay, I'll start to sketch out the skeleton of this character. This represents the face. Okay, it represents the face, the crosshair. So you can just sketch out a simple circle with a cross, a curved cross, especially that of the horizontal line. Then I can draw a vertical line this way to represent the spinal cord. So I'll also come here and draw what we call the waists. So this guy can represent the waist right here, if I can draw it correctly. So I'll draw the waist like so. So even if you don't know how to draw, I believe that by following this principle or this method that I'm using right here, you can easily be able to flesh out your own characters, as we can see in more subsequent videos. So I'll continue to flesh out this, to rather draw the skeleton of this character. Now I'll try to make sure that the waist of this character is close enough or closer to the neck, because this is a child. So of course the child is always short. He's not or she's not fully grown. If he was an adult, this guy can maybe come around here or here, depending on how tall the adult is. But in this case, I'm going to leave this guy here because he is going to be a very small child. So I will put this waist here and I'll delete or erase. Okay, I'll go back to my brush tool and I'll continue to sketch the feet. Remember, I'm using a pen tablet. All right, I'm using a pen tablet and a stylus. Okay, so this stylus is what I use as a drawing pen to put down my artworks and to work as an animator. Actually, you can still use a mouse, but it's going to be almost impossible and frustrating for you. So I advise that you get a graphic tablet and a pen for you to be able to draw more efficiently in your system or your computer. So I'm going to continue to draw the feet of this character like so, or maybe I can bring it here. Okay, so remember, this is just a sketch that we are starting off with, and this is the first video in our training series. Okay, so you can actually use the comment section and let me know how you want me to improve on these videos, so by the time I start recording the subsequent ones, there will be a much better improvement than this one. Okay, so I'll continue to draw this character. Now I'll put down the arms. The arms can come somewhere there. All right, let me reduce the size of this waist and the feet also. By the way, I use my lasso tool. I click on my lasso tool for selection, and I select around the area that I want to make a change to. I select around the area. I use Ctrl-T to bring up the transform tool. Then I will transform it the way I want, as you can see. But in this case, I'll just want to scale it up or down. If you want to scale up and maintain the size, the former size this waist was in, you hold down Shift. Okay, and if I want to scale from the former position this waist was in, you hold down what? Alt. Okay, you can see that I'm scaling it up from that position that it was in before, and also scaling it down. So I'll scale this guy down and bring him up just a little bit, okay, and click on Enter, Ctrl D to select. So I'll continue to draw this guy. I'll put down the arms like so. The arms, of course, should be short. Alright, the arms can be short. Okay. All right, so I can copy this arm by using my lasso tool again, selecting around this arm. As you can see, I can select that. As you can see, I'm carefully trying to select around this arm, right? Then I will use Ctrl J to duplicate. When you use Ctrl J, it will create a copy of that arm and create a new layer for that copy. As you can see, a new layer 2 has been created because there is a copy of this arm laying on top of each other. So what I need to do is to flip it to the other side. So how can I do that? I'll just use my Ctrl T. Make sure that you are selecting the layer that the duplicate appeared on before you use your Ctrl T. So Ctrl T to bring up the transform tool, then right click, go to flip horizontal, and it will flip that arm, and I will hold shift to move it in a straight line. If I don't hold shift, it will move it anyhow. So I will hold shift. Okay, I've already positioned it, moved it in a B position, but I will hold shift and try and place it almost at the same point with the other arm, and I'll click enter. Then I'll have to also merge it down, like combine the new layer back to the former layer. How do I do that? I can right click on that layer 2 and look for merge down, or let me undo by Ctrl Alt Z. Then I'll see the next thing that I can do, or the alternative way of merging it down. I'll just hold Ctrl and E, and it will merge down also to layer 1. So okay, so we have created the skeleton of this character, and in the next lesson, that is part 2, we are going to see how we can start fleshing out this character to resemble what we have in our imagination of what the character will look like. That is the small child of about 6-year-old. So we are going to see how we can start doing that in the next lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and remember to subscribe to this channel and let me know in the comment section what you find interesting in this first lesson and what you want me to improve on for the next subsequent lessons that we are going to be doing. All right, so please also remember to like and share, and thank you very much for watching.